Hey guys, welcome back to another Five Nights at Freddy's video, and today I'm bringing you a ranking video on all the Five Nights at Freddy's games. I'm not doing this alone, however, I'm actually doing it with my mate Ollie,
I love it.
and yeah, I'll leave his YouTube channel in the description below. I've seen a couple YouTubers having done this recently, and I sort of got the idea to do it myself. So yeah, let's get into it. I guess we should start with the first Five Nights at Freddy's game.
hmm Yep.
For me, it's already in the A tier just from nostalgia alone.
Yeah. hmm
Um, Obviously, gameplay's outdated, so you could argue it's lower. But to start with, I think just to set it in, we put it in as an A, and we move it around as
Yeah.
time goes because it's the beginning of the franchise. Um,
hmm
just
One of the
everything about it.
scariest.
Yeah, it's very scary compared to
Yeah.
some of the ones that came after it.
Yeah.
And it holds up in that sense for sure. Yeah.
I think
Uh,
the jump scares are still some of the best they've ever done.
yeah. No, I completely agree. Other than Foxy for me, which is just like not
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, I think he just tried doing something a bit different with that one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. He's definitely trying to do something different. But yeah, so I think we start in an A and we see where we go from there.
hmm Yeah.
Next we'll do Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
hmm
Nowhere near as nostalgic for me as FNAF, the first FNAF. So it hasn't got those points for it going there.
No. I
Uh,
do like the custom night
mm,
on Fnaf 2 though.
I agree. Yeah, that is a good custom night.
But the cameras aren't used enough.
No, they're
Like,
not.
and back then that was half the game was
Yeah,
check the cameras, close the
practically. Yeah,
door.
yeah. It's introduced some new mechanics though, the vents. But in
Yeah.
a sense, it's still sort of the same mechanics as the doors in FNAF 1. But like, it's a new map,
Yeah.
new characters, some fan
hmm
favorite characters such as Mangle were introduced, the puppet.
Yeah, the puppet. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
so
got
it's,
all the death mini games as well. First time purple
yes,
guy got a show.
yes, yeah. To be fair, yeah, there's some really good mini games in it. So I think it deserves to go in B. I don't think it's in a C category, but I don't think it's an A category either.
Yeah.
So we'll put it in B.
hmm
FNAF 3, I remember all the hype for this game when it was coming out,
Oh,
especially all
I
the
think this is like
teasers.
the peak hype.
Yes, yeah, because
Uh,
FNAF 2 had just finished, FNAF 3 was
yeah,
in the works. The amount of teaser posters, teaser like images on the Scott
yeah,
Cawthon website, that alone has so much nostalgia for me. Like the excitement for the
yeah. That's
game,
great.
I can't explain how like excited I got at the time. Um,
Yeah,
but
I think
then
that the cameras were great in the game
this,
as well.
yeah, completely.
How you could toggle between the vents. I think that was a bit much, but it once you got the hang of it, it worked quite well.
Yeah, completely.
Um,
But the jump scares were quite a letdown
yeah,
in
some of them
comparison to
weren't
some of the
great.
other ones. So I'd say to start with a B tier is I'd say it's quite nice to put it in there.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't deserve a C either. I'd say it's pretty on par with FNAF 2 in the sense of both have flaws, both have great
Mhm.
aspects. I think
Yeah, the mini games, the good ending.
yes, the good ending, yes, definitely. Um,
Uh,
yeah, I don't think there's really anything more to say about it other than obviously it's set in the future, which I guess is quite cool. Yeah, let's just say we'll put that as a B, um,
yeah,
because it has flaws, but it has some great aspects like FNAF 2. So we'll leave that as a B. Um,
yeah.
Next we've got FNAF 4. Uh, why is it not wanting to work? There you go, FNAF 4. For me, that's already an A tier.
hmm
Um, But just like all of it for me puts it in an A tier. The scariness of it after the criticisms of FNAF 3, the
yeah,
8-bit storyline as well as the mini games,
yeah,
the box, all the lore it
yeah.
brought with it, like the
hmm
1983.
Yeah, the
Um,
Halloween update as well.
yes, the Halloween update brought some cool skins for the animatronics.
hmm
Well, not skins, but you get what I mean, like designs, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think it's definitely up there as one of the best Five Nights at Freddy's games, if not the best.
yeah.
So for me, I'm gonna put it up at S tier,
hmm
because it's
Yeah,
definitely better than the first Five Nights at Freddy's. Definitely is
yeah.
definitely as games go. Uh,
Yeah, that was the first one you could sort of move. Remember
mhm.
in the trailer and stuff, everyone was going crazy
Yes,
because
they were. Yeah,
it showed you could move around. Yeah, nothing that's fair.
yeah, definitely. Um, right. So which
Fnaf World, I think.
FNAF World? Yeah. Obviously, you haven't
Yeah,
played this. Um,
no.
I have. I used to play it quite a bit. It's definitely not up there with the original four as games go, but it's definitely enjoyable. It's not a
Hmm.
D like level game. It's not like completely unenjoyable. It's actually quite fun, but it's not like in the sense of Five Nights at Freddy's games. It's not up there with the rest. So I'm gonna put it as a C,
Yeah.
a mid tier C.
Hmm.
Just generic.
Yeah,
It's
fair
just
enough.
quite good.
Yeah,
But nothing special.
I never played it, but I saw, I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos on it, and they
Mhm.
look, good enough. I think it could have been better if it was all Five Nights at Freddy's theme, like, like the enemies
Mhm. Yeah.
were characters from it instead of just some, just random thing. But
Yes.
in all the game, were quite enjoyable. A lot of different endings as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It had a lot of aspects to it which were good about it. But
Hmm.
it's just like an 8-bit mini game at the end of the day. It's kind of like an RPG, isn't it? Like a role play game.
Yeah.
Um, but it's enjoyable enough. It's enjoyable enough. I'm just gonna just
Hmm.
slam FNAF AR down there. Uh, I just didn't enjoy it, and I wasn't. This was
Yeah.
like a phase where I just wasn't as much into Five Nights at Freddy's. Not that I'm not like I'm a recent fan, but like it just wasn't. It didn't appeal to me. Like I just didn't care. The promotion for it was
Yeah.
cool though,
Same.
but other than that, there's really not very many redeeming factors other than the
Hmm. The
skins.
skins are good,
Yeah,
but yeah,
the skins are good,
that's about it.
and that's basically it. And I don't think that brings it up to a C because that's not even the
No.
gameplay, is it? So um,
Yeah.
next we'll do a sister location.
Fifth location.
I think that's at least
Uh,
an A tier for me.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
it's got to be eight.
I don't think it's up there with FNAF 4 because it has a couple of flaws.
Yeah.
The self-explanatoriness of the levels, yet having to still be explained how to do them constantly.
Hmm.
It's like every level's a tutorial. Um,
Yeah, a lot of the game was. I think that game was more story wise than it was
yes,
gameplay.
but that's what's great about it in the same sense. But
Yeah,
what
yeah,
what it lacks in gameplay, it provides in storytelling, which I think for
yeah.
some this is why it's such a good game, and then for others is why it's maybe not like S tier level.
Hmm.
And I
And if
think
you
that's
are
why
there
it's
for
worse.
gameplay, you have the custom night as well, which
Hmm.
is like a game in itself. Scott could have just released that, and that would have been good enough.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So and then obviously the cutscenes, um,
Hmm.
just the 8-bit mini games,
Yeah,
um, like the baby mini game.
yeah,
It's just there's just like introduction of Ennard. There were just some really cool. I like the level designs as well. They were really actually they had to make you think,
yeah.
and they were kind of unique in that sense compared to the other four FNAF
Hmm.
games. And
That
obviously,
was the first game of voice acting. I think that wasn't phone guy.
hmm yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
I remember seeing like the leaks going around of like um people casting for the biddy babs and the names were getting leaked,
yeah,
and that was mental.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, I think good A tier.
yeah, definitely A tier. Pizza Sim or Ultimate Custom Night?
Peter Singer.
Pizza Sim, that's A for me easily.
Yeah,
I think it's a
yeah.
high A. I think it's definitely the best out of the three, for me at
Hmm.
least. Um, yeah, I like the whole aspect of it, like the bouncing between an RPG
Yep.
and then going to the actual Five Nights at Freddy's gameplay. The jump
Yeah.
scares weren't great, but weren't bad. Um,
No, I think they're the worst jump scares out of all the
yes,
games.
definitely.
But
For
yeah,
me, they're probably
but
on par with
I
FNAF
wish.
3.
Yeah, yeah. In some ways, yeah. I just think that the animatronics weren't shown enough. Like you had the interviews with them, but
Hmm.
other than that, the only other times you saw them were, if you got jump scared.
Yeah.
I think if you could look down the vent and see
And
like the
see
eyes
them,
looking at you
yes, yeah. I
or
think
something,
they
but,
might introduce that in Help Wanted too. To be fair, I think they'll do
yeah,
something along those lines.
yeah,
Because
they
Scott's
need to
quite
do
good at
that. I think.
working off criticism, really, isn't he? Because that's how he brought
Yeah,
FNAF 4 from FNAF 3. Like it was drastic
yeah,
changes um,
hmm
for a fan base that clearly wasn't. Well, they still loved the game. I think FNAF fan base on the whole are quite positive fans.
yeah,
Because they still love FNAF 3, but like they needed something more, and he produced FNAF 4, which is such an
hmm
improvement.
yeah,
Right, so we've agreed it's a high A tier
yeah,
level.
yeah.
It's not S tier due to the jump scares for me, but
No, yeah. But you got to think
definitely.
also, all the mini games that there
Mm,
was.
yes,
Uh,
like all of them. There's loads.
yeah,
Uh,
even all the little secrets, like the stuff that you can buy in the store that
yes,
like means stuff.
yeah. All of it.
Yeah,
All of it
yeah,
had some sort of meaning. All of it was.
yeah.
All of it was just cool. It was a cool experience.
Hmm.
Um, and there was so many like hidden Easter eggs and just
Yeah,
aspects of the game which caught you off guard, which I really liked.
yeah, hmm
Ultimate Custom Night now or Help
yeah.
Wanted?
Ultimate
Ultimate Custom
customer.
Night, cool.
Yeah,
I'd say that's C tier. It's definitely not
yeah,
AR level, but I still don't think it's up there with the like 2 and 3. Um,
yeah. I think it's high C.
yeah, I think it goes
Just
Ultimate Custom Night then
yeah,
FNAF World.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't really know what more to say. It lacks in lore.
No,
Um,
yeah. I think that it seemed a bit. Oh, like obviously it's meant to be chaotic and stuff, but like
mhm.
you'd see an animatronic in the hallway, and it was just it was so obvious it was just a 2D image just slapped there. But there's only so much you can do when there's that much going on
Mhm.
in a tiny building. But as I've said before, it's more of like a chore, that game.
Yeah, it
Like
is. It's for
you
people that
can't
just
just
want to
enjoy
play
it.
those sort of games. Like you have to really, really want to be
Yeah,
playing it to really enjoy it. And even
yeah.
then, you can
I don't
dedicate loads
think.
of time and just not get anywhere from it.
Yeah, I don't think you can enjoy that unless, like, you had sat down for 2 months,
Yes.
perfected it, and then every time you played, you could beat any night you wanted.
Yeah, you're actually accomplishing what you're aiming to do. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um.
you'd have to get a month or a month and a half free
Yes.
to
Exactly.
and just
Yeah.
dedicate hours per day to practice and because the game isn't hard. I see people who have beaten it say like it's just a routine thing, but
Hmm.
there's so much going on. Like it takes ages to like perfect it.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think you
Yeah.
have to change the music box to the global music box every 10 seconds, or the power generator.
Hmm.
So it's just one big trial and error, I guess.
Yeah. It really is. I just. Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. I don't see it being above C for those reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just I think if you're into those sort of games where you have to sweat it out, you have to spend hours and
yeah.
hours on it. This is the perfect Five Nights at Freddy's
I think
game for
if
you.
there was another lockdown or
Yes,
anything like
yeah,
that, with 6 months off, um, minimal stuff to do.
yeah,
It's the perfect game for that.
yeah. It's a pastime,
It's a
isn't it? Really?
yeah, it's a good challenge. You can sit down for hours, but yeah, overall, like, unless you have the time to do it, I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you can really sit down and enjoy that game.
No, I agree. I agree. Let's go to Help Wanted now, shall we?
Hmm. Yeah,
That's S tier easily for me. I think it's better than
yeah,
Five Nights at Freddy's 4. If
yeah.
it's gonna let me, I don't think. There we go. Um, I don't think there can be real argument.
No,
Uh,
I've never experienced it in VR, but even without VR, I would say it's where it is now.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think VR adds a lot to it. But
Yeah, yeah,
it works without VR as well, which is mental.
yeah. It's,
But
it's it's crazy to think that, isn't it? How a game which is basically made for VR, let's say, um, has still somehow held up. You know?
yeah, I think some of it could have been improved on. but you know, it was the first. It was the first, big VR game. Like, I think that's one of the biggest VR games ever made.
I think it probably is the
You
biggest
know,
VR game. There's some
yeah,
recent games that have been brought out, or ones which are being made, which
yeah,
might top it. But then I still think Help Wanted 2 will then absolutely crush
yeah,
any
yeah.
competition coming out anytime soon.
There's so much more they could do, but yeah, I think Help Wanted has to go there 'cause it's got Five Nights at Freddy's 4 in it to a certain
Hmm.
extent. It's got some of sister location, going through Funtime Foxy and stuff.
Yeah.
It's got three. Obviously, it's a lot different, the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and 3 and all that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
it worked pretty well,
It
and
works well. Yeah.
it's fun, finding all the coins and the tapes
Yes.
and all
All
that.
of it is just it's added a bit more lore, given something extra, not just repeating the same games you've already played.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, having played it in VR myself, just the fear of it, it's brought out a lot of like scariness to the games which didn't feel too scary. So like FNAF 2, for me, it was a lot scarier than it was actually playing the original FNAF
Yeah,
2, because you're on edge all the time. The way of seeing Mangle on the roof, like it's actually there, like
yeah,
it's just crazy to experience for like definitely like it's an S tier game
yeah,
regardless of VR or with VR, like it
mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. Um,
Yeah,
having it with VR, it's like top tier S. Like it's like top tier
yeah,
Five
yeah.
Nights at Freddy's games.
Yeah, I've always wanted to experience
Uh
that,
huh.
but it's a lot.
It's a lot just
Especially,
for one
I'm on
game.
Xbox as well, and I
Yeah.
think it's more. A lot of the recent Five Nights at Freddy's games are more PC, PlayStation based.
Yes. Yeah, they are.
Well,
I just don't see like the point in spending so much on the VR headset, especially for one game which you can still get enjoyment out without VR.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's just a waste of money. So I
Hmm.
think finally Security Breach. It's
Yep.
definitely between high A, low S, dependent on
Yeah.
console. But for me, it's low S. Low
Hmm.
S for the moment.
I think it's got to be yes. You
Mhm.
can't put a game that size on the same row as Five Nights at Freddy's 1, for example.
Yes, yeah.
But
It's its own
but
game, in this, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, I think FNAF 1 does things better than the lore in it. I think is a lot
Mhm.
better, but I
Yeah.
think Security Breach could easily have been the top here, top X,
Yes.
but there was no obviously ruins coming out soon. So hopefully that clears some stuff up.
That
But
definitely will.
right
It
now, as
has
it
to.
stands, yeah, right now, there's no solid ending. We still don't know
No.
which ending ruin takes place
Yeah,
itself.
exactly. It
So
might be a completely new one. We actually don't know. That's
yeah,
the thing about
so
it.
yeah, it didn't really answer anything we needed it to really.
It
It
did
just
not know.
it just
Yeah.
let us play a fun little game, I guess,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
didn't progress anything.
No, but the fact that it was free roam, well, not free roam fully, but open world sort of 3D
Yeah,
aspect to it. I love those sort of games.
yeah, yeah,
Yes, it
definitely.
was buggy early doors, but
Hmm.
updates, just patches, everything here and there has brought it out to be a brilliant game. And I've got a
Yeah,
surprise coming soon. I've got a delivery coming through my door any second coming up. So some point soon there'll be a video surprise for Security Breach. So you better come
nice.
back for the next video. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, definitely S tier. With Ruin coming out, could be a high S tier for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
But for
definitely.
now, it's definitely dipping between high A, low S. But I think it's fair to say it's low S just for the fact that it
Yeah.
can't be seen in the same category as a 2D Five Nights at Freddy's
Hmm.
games. Just for the fact of difference in quality, But I think we can
Yeah.
agree. Security Breach S tier, and I think it's fair to say Help Wanted's probably the best FNAF game out the lot.
Hmm.
I feel FNAF 4 is probably on par with me for Security Breach. But
Yeah.
just the
I think
lore,
FNAF 4, is the best, actual Five Nights at
yes,
Freddy's
for
game.
sure, without a doubt.
But the new, sort of generation of Five Nights at Freddy's games where it's not just look left and right, check the
Yes, we're
cameras, close
past
the
that now,
door.
aren't we? Yeah, yeah.
Like it's hard to put put them in the same category when they're so different.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if you're looking at Five Nights at Freddy's games as a Five Nights at Freddy's game, FNAF 4 is up there above Security Breach for the moment for me, and then
Yeah.
Help Wanted's just like above it all. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty clear. So I think this is a fair assumption of what our tier list is. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I think FNAF 2 is a bit better than FNAF 3 for me. It could bounce between, but I'd say just keeping it as a B for the both of them, I think is fair.
Yeah, I think 2 and 3 are around the same. I think that 2 does some things better, 3 does other things better.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'd say Pizza Simulator, then Sister Location, then the first FNAF. All very close, but just the quality difference and the aspects of the games which are introduced, I think are just that much different. And give it that bit better, especially in Pizza Simulator, just the different aspects and lore, mini games, all of it just put into one.
Yeah, the endings as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, all of it, just all of it basically. Yeah, the ending for Pizza Simulator is the most iconic thing for me in Five Nights at Freddy's. If even if it's not the most iconic, it's top 3 most iconic things in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think that's us done. I'm quite happy with that tier list. So yeah. So thanks to Ollie for obviously taking part in this video. We'll probably do quite a few more videos coming up in the future with more content coming out. Obviously, I'll leave his YouTube channel in the description below. Make sure to check him out.